Xiaomi says that the Mi4i model is their latest flagship smartphone. Does it live up to the flagship grade expectations? This is Linus from TechLineHD and let's find out. The Mi4i comes in a typical box for Xiaomi, which is most likely made out of recycled materials. The packaging contents include instruction manuals, which this time are mostly in English, UK plug, USB cable, and SIM ejector tool. Overall, the presentation looks simple but neat. Alright, so here's the phone itself and let's take a look at the display, which I think is one of the highlights here. The 5 inches 1080p LCD panel is sharp, vivid, very bright, and has a superb sunlight visibility. I believe that it is one of the best panels I've seen in a while. On the top side you can find a Mi logo, notification LED, proximity sensor, earpiece, and the 5 megapixels front-facing shooter. On the bottom side of the device, there are nicely backlit capacitive keys. The backlight is not that bright, but it is visible even outdoors. The Mi4i does not have premium materials in its design, but it comes in a high-quality unibody plastic shell which does not feel cheap at all. The top left corner is the place where Xiaomi implemented a 13 megapixels camera along with dual-tone dual LED flash and the noise-cancelling mic. On the bottom side, there is a loudspeaker and you will hear a sound test a bit later in this review. Xiaomi decided not to implement the metal chassis but stick with plastic on the sides of the device. The left side is where you can find a dual micro SIM tray. However, there is no microSD card slot. Sometimes I just can't understand the reasons behind the lack of storage expansion option. The right side is where you can find a plastic-made volume rocker along with a power on and off switch. The buttons have a great tactile response and I have no complaints here. On the top side of the device you can find a conveniently placed headphone jack. Finally, on the bottom there is a micro USB charging port along with the main microphone. Overall, the device feels like a premium piece of hardware despite its plastic build. It feels great in the hand, the button placement seems right, and 5 inches display can be easily reached with your thumb. Also, it is a nice compact phone that would not protrude out of your pocket. The Xiaomi Mi4i runs the MIUI 6.5.5, which is a highly customized version of Android 5.0 Lollipop. As usual for the Chinese manufacturers, there is no app drawer as all the apps sit on the home screens. The UI performance is great, everything is running smoothly, all the apps are opening fast, and the transitions are almost flawless. The device has tons of settings to play with and more importantly, there are many customization options. Xiaomi is famous for offering literally hundreds of different themes, so you would find at least a few to suit your taste. It is worth mentioning that the device comes with Google services pre-installed out of the box, so you don't need to worry about that as it is an issue with some of the Chinese devices. Overall, although the MIUI may look a bit unusual at the first glance, it is definitely a nice and responsive interface worth trying out. The Xiaomi Mi4i has the 64-bit octa-core Snapdragon 615 chip inside along with 2 gigs of RAM and just 16 gigs of non-expandable storage. The overall package fits the upper mid-range class, but the lack of the microSD card slot may be a deal breaker for some. The synthetic benchmarks are actually not that great as the device is definitely not on par with current flagship smartphones. On the other hand, graphically intensive games are handled without a sweat as I didn't notice any difference between the Xiaomi Mi4i and devices powered by Snapdragon 801 chips. However, the smartphone heats up very quickly and just after 3 or 4 minutes of use it becomes quite hot that it feels a bit uncomfortable in the hand. I know that Xiaomi has already addressed this issue and it is working on the software updates, but this is the thing you have to live with for now. The MIUI Gallery app is just a pleasure to navigate through. It is easy to use and very responsive. In addition, the stock video player app can play a variety of different formats and scrolling through the footage is really smooth. The 5-inch display may not be the biggest to enjoy the video, but the great sunlight visibility compensates that when watching a movie outdoors. The music player app has a nice flat design, it is responsive and all the features can be accessed quickly. The sound quality of the loudspeaker is not the best, but it is pretty good. Also, it is loud enough to listen to music or even hear it in noisy environments. Let's take a look at the camera of the Xiaomi Mi4i. The MIUI design language continues in the pre-installed camera app. It is fast, responsive, and the shutter speed is very fast. In addition, there are tons of different settings and shooting modes if you feel like getting the picture the way you want. The 13-megapixel shooter turns out to be nearly excellent performer in the daylight. The pictures are sharp, have a lot of detail, and also the colors look natural most of the time, but sometimes software makes it look a bit more punchy. The dynamic range is usually good, but if it struggles in difficult scenarios, the HDR mode does a great job helping out. Once you take the camera indoors with good lighting, you can produce some nice and sharp looking images. However, the lower lit objects have the increased amount of noise, but it is still acceptable. The low-light camera performance is a hit or miss. Sometimes you can get some great looking photos which can be even on par with real flagship devices, but other times the images turn out to be blurry and have a lot of noise. Still, you can achieve some good looking results, and the low-light camera performance is one of the best I've seen in this price range. The device is capable of shooting videos at maximum resolution of 1080p. The footage comes out quite good, colors look natural, and auto exposure works well. However, the video could be a bit sharper and the sensor could capture some more details. Still, I like what I'm seeing overall. All the connectivity options, including GPS, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, work just fine. In addition, call quality is just great. I could easily hear clear voices via earpiece, and same can be said about people on the other end. A huge battery delivers in real life, as you can be sure that the juice pack will get you through the day even if you are a heavy user. Also, the screen on and standby times are great, as you can watch HD video for around 10 hours, which is quite impressive. Overall, the battery life is very good. Is the Xiaomi Mi4i a flagship device as the company declares? Well, no, it is not. Considering the spec sheet and the synthetic benchmark results, it is more like an upper mid-range device. On the other hand, the real-life scenario suggests that the device can deliver almost flagship-grade performance. To begin with, it is very fast and even the most graphically intensive tasks are handled pretty well. However, the more processing power you require, the more it heats up. Actually, the chip inside can overheat easily and may even make the device uncomfortable to hold it in your hand. I know that this is a widely known issue, but I hope that Xiaomi will fix it as soon as possible. For example, I reviewed the ZTE Nubia Z9 Mini with the same processor, but I did not have these issues at all. Still, there are plenty of things that work well on this device. I love the UI, which works fine most of the time. In addition, the camera is really great despite a few minor shortcomings. Finally, all the connectivity options were great and the battery life is just amazing. Overall, the Xiaomi Mi4i is a great upper mid-range device from a well-known Chinese manufacturer. Despite a few shortcomings which can be fixed via software updates, I believe it is a great smartphone worth your attention. It was Linus from TechLineHD. I hope you enjoyed this review. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel, as it really helps bringing the newest and hottest devices on the market to our review labs. Also, please check out other videos on the channel and take a look at the TechLineHD Facebook page and other social media platforms. See you in the next episode soon.